Number 1 Houston taking on Memphis on CBS. Memphis, a 10 seed in Jerry Palm's bracketology. Top-ranked Houston looking to further their case as the number 1 overall seed and win its 11th straight game. And before we even tipped off here, the intensity already beginning. Memphis not making it easy for Houston to get to their end of the court. We pick it up early in the second half. Memphis down 9. Kendrick Davis hits the 3. That put Memphis down 6. They were down 11 at the break. Here they're still down 6. DeAndre Williams to Chandler Lawson, and he nails the triple. Memphis down 3. What a move by him to get past Jamal Shed. Shed would have something to say about that later in the game. 13 to play. Memphis now down 2. Davis up the floor, steps into the 3, nails it. Memphis up 1. Part of a 19-3 Tigers run. They would go up by 4, their first lead of the season versus Houston. So 9 to play, now tied at 51. Alex Lomax almost loses the ball, recovers and finds Malcolm Dandridge for the lay-in, plus the foul. Memphis back up 4 after the free throws. Great little play there as the Tigers fighting back. 4 to go, tied at 56. Memphis inbounding, but Shed taps it away. Cougars up the floor. Marcus Sasser for 3. That's good. Houston back up 3, part of a 10-0 run for them to go up by 5. Under 2 to go, Memphis responds. Davis the deep 3. That's good. Tied it at 63. Houston answers. Shed high off the backboard and in, up 2. Then 30 seconds to go. Sasser trap, but he throws it too high for Jarris Walker to corral. So that's Memphis ball. Look at the rebound here. It bounces off his knee as he tries to corral it. 17 seconds to go. Elijah McFadden with the miss. Memphis with the offensive rebound. Kendrick Davis going to lay this in. Memphis ties it at 65. Now Houston not calling a timeout here. So time winding down. Jamal Shed has the game winner on his fingertips. And at the buzzer, he makes it happen. Drops in the 2-ball. Houston wins 67-65. Just their second win at Memphis in the last 20 years. Memphis 0-6 all time versus AP number 1 ranked opponents. After the game, Jim Nantz and Bill Raftery with Shed and Juwan Roberts.
Well, Raf, look who we have with us.
Well, I got the rebounder and the screener. Who do you have?
I have the guy that hit the shot at the buzzer. Jamal, congratulations. The streak continues. That was a big-time win. How did you do this at the end?
We just tried to stay together and just keep fighting. They made a great push at the end, and we just tried to stay with it. And, God willing, we made a big shot.
How about that shot? You of course, elected not to take a timeout. You guys ran it up the floor. Were you feeling like it was there for you with time running down?
I always bring up the Wisconsin game my sophomore year at the beginning when, I let the ball go and the buzzer went off before I can get a shot off. And, it just always replays in my mind in moments like this.
And he had a big hand in this, too, here, Juwan Roberts.
Does he know you do all the dirty work? Does he thank you for that?
Oh, yeah, he does. And I appreciate it a lot.
Okay. What happened with the zone? And then somebody must have talked the coach out of it. He went a little man-to-man late. Any of you have a suggestion?
He asks us all the time. Well, like if we'll get into that whole, what do you guys want to do? What do you guys prefer? And, that I love that about him because, he lets us be in our own comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen, 31 games now. They're 29-2. His mom and dad, I saw them the whole game. Come on over here, folks. Let's get you guys some National Pub. They've been at every single game. Make an introduction here for us.
It's my mom, Lisa Shed, and my dad, Elvin Shed. My guy.
Hey, how about, what did you think of that shot your son hit?
It was awesome. It was awesome.
And Dad had brought back some of those before you went into the Army, those memories of you being a college basketball player, which we talked about on the air. I know it was brief.
It was brief.
It's brief at Colorado, but still, your son wearing your number, and today hit the shot to stay number 1.
Love it. Real excited for all of them. Great team win. Team win.
You got a great team, a great son.
One thing, too, last year we was in a situation at Wichita State. The game was tied, and coach didn't call timeout as well. And we had all the confidence and trust in Jamal. He made the right play. So, fast forward to today, they scored, and we trust him again, to make the right play, and he made it.
Guys, congratulations to everybody.
Guys.
Jim Nantz and Bill Raftery with Jamal Shed and Juwan Roberts after the game. Houston matched the best AAC regular season record in conference history, improving to 17-1. Their 11th straight win. They're 11-0 on the road this season. Tough loss for Memphis. They lose by 2, but they cover the 4. The under hits For Houston, they're going to be competing in the AAC tournament for the final time. They're, of course, joining the Big 12 after this season. All right, for more on this game, let's bring in college basketball writer Kyle Boone. Kyle, thoughts on this game here? It was everything that we expected, certainly if you're a Memphis fan, but were you surprised that the Tigers were able to get it so close and take this to the buzzer?
I was, yeah, JSL. This was a game that at halftime looked like it might be over, might be curtains. Houston came out punching and swinging, looked really, really good in the first half. And kind of as I laid out in the pregame, this was a spot where I thought Houston would come out really motivated. They are on the number 1 seed line right now, according to Jerry Palm's bracket, but I think easily have the worst resume among projected number 1 seeds. So this is a chance to kind of prove themselves. It looked like they were hungry to do that in the first half. Memphis, though, comes out swinging in the second half. Kendrick Davis is big in the second half. They go on a 3-point barrage and tie it up in the final seconds. And, of course, Jamal Shed with the onions comes back on the other end, drains the floater as time expires to lift Houston to a win. Houston had lost 16 of its last 17 games against Memphis inside FedEx Forum. So a huge win for the Cougars, who will likely retain their number 1 seed in bracketology and also their number 1 ranking in the AP poll when it drops again on Monday.
Yeah, just the second win that they've had at the FedEx Forum in the last 20 years, as you mentioned. And Kendrick Davis, what a game for him from Memphis. 18 of his 26 points coming in the second half as he leads that big comeback for them. But what does this win mean for Houston in terms of what they kind of showed you today?
Yeah, I was really impressed. I think typically sometimes in conference play, a win is a win and you don't take much from it. But to me, this showed some real resolve from Houston that I really wanted to see. I think Houston is the best team in college basketball. Now, they don't have the best resume in college basketball, but talent for talent, the way that they play, the style they play, the experience they have, the depth that they have, I think Houston can win the national championship, and I'm picking Houston to win the national championship. So with their backs against the wall today, I think there was a reasonable chance that they could have lost this game, and that would have made sense. Memphis is really difficult to beat inside FedEx Forum, but backs against their wall, they come down late. Jamal Shed hits the shot to win it at the buzzer. They could have laid down late in that game after kind of folding and blowing a big lead, but they kept fighting, they kept punching. I think it's all credit to Houston, kind of the system that they run, the culture that they have produced under Kelvin Sampson. This Cougars team is for real, and winning in a tough environment on the road at Memphis speaks volumes, I think, for what this team can do moving forward.
Shed with 16 points and 7 assists. What did you see that concerned you here, Kyle? Because Kelvin Sampson was not very happy at certain portions of this game. He seemed to be, kind of a little bit miffed at the mental game for his team, that they weren't necessarily as mentally sharp as they should have been, particularly in that second half. Is that cause for concern for you?
I don't think so. They played through it and they were able to kind of figure some things out. I did notice throughout this game, and as we were watching this game, some uncharacteristic mistakes, some decision making from this Houston team. This is a veteran-laden team. They make good decisions for the most part. They have one of the best true lead guards in college basketball in Marcus Sasser. I think one of the best and most talented freshmen in college basketball in Jarris Walker. And both of those guys at times during this game had some moments where you're like, what exactly are you doing here? But they were able to figure things out. Obviously, they came together down the stretch. They hung tight. They get the win. So I think it's more a testament to Houston's resolve than maybe some red flags alarming, because I still believe this is a Houston team that can win the national championship. And Memphis, by the way, is probably going to be in the NCAA tournament. So this is a good Memphis team that they're facing. They had some struggles, and were able to come out on the other side of it.
Yeah, talent certainly will win out if they get some of those little mental mistakes that cleared up, as you mentioned. Favorites to win the national title, even at this point. So let's talk about Memphis. What does this loss mean for them?
It's tough. I think win and you're definitely into the NCAA tournament. At this point, I think the loss, it's not a killer loss. Obviously, you're talking about the number 1 team in college basketball. But this probably means Memphis is going to be at least mildly uncomfortable on Selection Sunday unless it is able to do some damage in the American Athletic Conference tournament. So there's a chance that Memphis wins multiple games in the American Athletic Conference tournament, and all of this is moot. But the resume is not great. They're a projected 10 seed according to Palm right now. They're 2-3 in Quadrant 1 opportunities. Their best win is over a Texas A&M team that lost the SEC by multiple games. They've got an ugly loss on the resume as well. If you look at that graphic there, they lost to Tulane. And so the resume kind of is what it is. They'll have some chances to improve upon that in the conference tournament. A win over Houston in the conference tournament, I think, would go a long ways. But outside of that, the American Athletic Conference is not going to be a great forum for them to improve their standing. So this is a missed opportunity if you're Memphis.
In terms of that conference tournament, I mean, what is the outlook for both teams as they head into conference championship week, and then looking at the tournament at large?
Yeah, Houston's going to be clearly favored. Houston has, for the last 2 months, really separated itself from the rest of the league, and that's no surprise. They've kind of separated themselves from the rest of college basketball in a lot of ways. The way that they play with such physicality, they're really good on the offensive glass. Offensively, they can really blow it out on any given night. They will be the favorite entering the conference tournament. Memphis, I think, has to be considered kind of the second front runner there, just behind Houston. The way that they played really down the stretch, they played with a lot of urgency, and you saw that against Houston in this game. Memphis has, I think, one of the best and most explosive scoring guards in college basketball, in Kendrick Davis, who was awesome for Memphis today. When he is going to the rack and shooting threes the way that he did today, this Tigers team is clearly dangerous. I hope they'll be in the NCAA tournament. I think they'll be in the NCAA tournament, but they probably need to do some damage in the conference tournament to feel good about their NCAA tournament prospects.
He is CBS Sports college basketball writer Kyle Boone discussing Houston's 67-65 nail-biting win over Memphis in Tennessee. Great stuff as always, Kyle.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.